Today I'm going to be installing a wired doorbell chime as well as a wired tri-volt transformer that goes up to 24 volts, mainly for the Ring Doorbell Pro 2. Let's jump right in. My existing doorbell transformer is located right at the furnace disconnect switch. This is my 120 volt wire coming into the junction box. Just curious to see if this transformer is even good or not. We have live voltage coming into the junction box, but when I test for voltage coming out of the transformer, I get 0 volts. The transformer could be bad or something could be miswired. Either way, it's getting replaced. Turning off the power to the circuit, as I will be working with high voltage, using the non-contact voltage tester on this meter to make sure that I have the right circuit. Behind this junction box is a tie-in to the old transformer. This is where I'm going to be getting my 120 volts to power the new transformer. Disconnecting both of the wires that are tied into the old transformer. This house here is over 30 years old, and so is this transformer. As you can see right here, there's just 2 wires connected. This transformer didn't even have a ground. Removing the lock nut from the threaded shaft of the old transformer. Then I need to disconnect the 2 low voltage wires that are going to my doorbell chime. Here's the new transformer that I'm going to be installing. This can be hooked up 3 different ways for 8 volts, 16 volts, or 24 volts. I'm going to go with the 24 volt option. Could start with the 16 volt option and see if your doorbell is functioning properly, and then move up in voltage if it is not. But hey, do this all at your own risk. I'm not going to be responsible if you blow up your new Ring doorbell. This is just how I'm doing it for me and my household. Cleaning up the low voltage doorbell wire copper connections. I've got some 180 J hooks and these copper connections. You want the hook going the same way that the screw is going to be turning, so it pulls the wire in, kind of like if you're replacing a receptacle or outlet. There is no torque that is required for this. You just don't want it loose, and you don't want to torque too hard or you can rip right through the wire. As you see on the outside, that is hooked up for 24 volt. Now I need to remove this screw from this transformer, and I'm going to run the wires into this junction box. It's going to be through the bottom, the same as the old junction box. Then I'm going to reinsert the screw and tighten it all the way down till it makes a secure connection. Connect my wires from the transformer to the high voltage and from the transformer to the neutral wire. This is a newer transformer, so it does need to be grounded. This is a metal junction box, so the ground wire from the transformer has to be securely connected to the junction box. Gently push all the wires back into the box while putting the cover back on, securing the 2 screws to hold it in place. Turn the breaker on to reapply the high voltage. With my voltmeter, I test the transformer to make sure that I'm getting the correct output voltage. 28 volts, a little high, but it looks good. Now I'm at the location where the door chime is going to be installed. I just need to determine which wires are coming from the transformer and which ones are going towards the doorbell. Secure the power, get my door chime ready to install. Removing the rubber bands that hold in the springs from the door chime, because if you don't, it just won't sound right when you hook it up. Now I'm feeding these wires through the back of the doorbell chime, loosening up the front screw and the transformer screw. There's an extra screw that can be used if you have a back door and you want to hook up an additional doorbell or video doorbell camera to that terminal. I'm only hooking up 1 camera, so that does not apply to this particular installation. 1 wire from the transformer is going to go to the chime. The other wire from the transformer is going to go to the doorbell. The other wire from the doorbell is going to connect to the chime at the doorbell terminal. It sounds confusing, but it's really not. Just please read the wiring diagram for your specific chime and doorbell and make sure you understand it. Bending the copper wire into a J-hook before putting it around the screw and making sure that the bend is going in the same direction that the screw will be turning, to tightening it so it actually pulls the wire into it and makes a very secure connection. Here I'm just removing the old screws from the old doorbell chime. Now I'm just going to secure the chime to the drywall. You can see that I'm not using anchors. You can if you want to. I just don't feel the need in this situation. Install the cover, and now we are ready to test this bad boy out. reapply the power to the circuit that the doorbell chime is on. To test that everything I did is actually working, I'm going to grab the 2 wires where my doorbell should be, rub them together, and see if it rings. We're now ready to install the Ring Doorbell Pro 2.